Accountability Now, the director of Accountability Now, Advocate Paul Hoffman, joins me now for a little bit of a conversation here as well. Mr. Hoffman, appreciate it. Your thoughts, where do we go to from here? He doesn't have any room for indecision, one might say, is President Cyril Ramaphosa. So what is it that he could say that would really give a sense of authority on this matter?
Good morning, Arabile, and good morning to your viewers as well. Thank you for the opportunity. One should really start by asking the question why before we work out what needs to be done. And why is it that a senior police officer, the head of the police in KZN, felt obliged to dress up in his camouflage outfit and call a press conference this day, 7 days ago? And if you try and answer the question why properly, you'll see that the essence of his complaint is that corruption is going unaddressed in the system as it functions at the moment in South Africa. And the president, while he was still in Brazil, reacted initially to it by invoking the rule of law as the way forward in relation to the complaints raised by General Mkhwanazi. And if you consider what the rule of law means in relation to the allegations of corruption that the general has made public, then you go back to the system and see why it is that the system is not working as it should. And the answer to that question lies in the failure of government to implement a decision made in the Constitutional Court in 2011, if you don't mind, in which the court said that a body outside of the control of the executive is required in order to deal with corruption. Those are the actual words of the judgment. And the parliament and the government president were sent back to the drawing table and told to remediate the legal system, to change the law so that such a body would be brought into existence.
Yeah.
Well, I don't need to tell you and your viewers that just hasn't happened. It doesn't suit those in positions of power.
But Paul, that just feels like we're now going to call for an inquiry, because ultimately that would be the best possible body outside.
I don't think that an inquiry is required at all. What is required is a body outside executive control to take charge of allegations of corruption, of the entire phenomenon of corruption, including state capture, which is just a fancy form of corruption. We don't have that in South Africa, and we desperately need it. So if the president sticks to his initial reaction, which is to invoke the rule of law, then he needs to go back to the decision of the Constitutional Court, and he needs to remedy the situation in relation to the system and structure that is in place in relation to dealing with corruption in South Africa. And the good news on that side is that there are already 2 bills pending in Parliament for the establishment and enablement of an anti-corruption commission, which will not be a commission of inquiry. It will be a commission like the Human Rights Commission, the Gender Commission, the Auditor General, Independent Electoral Commission. All of those commissions have been put together under Chapter 9 of the Constitution, which guarantees their independence. And that is really what the court was talking about when it called for a body outside executive control. The court, in its judgment, explained that the main characteristics of the body that we still don't have should be that specialists trained as experts in anti-corruption work should function independently, both structurally and operationally, in a properly and guaranteed resourced unit that is secure in its tenure of office.
So
Now, yes, sorry.
with that in mind then, should we then just have one, Senzo Mkhunu, step down ultimately, or ultimately even fired perhaps from his post, pending an investigation of sorts here? Or is this a way for us to, at this point, we take away what we feel might be the cause, what might be the issue at hand here, and then deal with an investigation afterwards? Because it feels like even the rule of law may be put to President Cyril Ramaphosa in another way, to say, well, you can't just fire somebody, perhaps. Somebody might invoke that, even though it is his own decree and his own ability to do so.
Yes, look, there are going to be a lot of fingers pointing in all directions. I see in the press that Mkhwanazi is accused of doing this as a defensive measure because he's under investigation for corruption. He certainly pointed the finger of corruption at his minister. And the minister has apparently volunteered to step down, to go on special leave while this is being investigated and sorted out. But we don't need more commissions of inquiry. We know what's wrong. What's wrong is that the system does not work. And so fix the system and make it work, and there won't be problems of this nature in the future.
Yeah, and looking at the system as well, does that, in that whole system that isn't working, one might ask the question around that kind of hiring we have in the police in general, whether it be police minister or police commissioner for that matter, provincial or national. There's always question marks by the seams of it as well. Should we be re-looking at that hiring process?
Yes, certainly the idea, I see Sophie Williams from the University of Stellenbosch wrote a piece at the end of last week saying that the integrity of the recruits into the anti-corruption machinery of the state should be tested vigorously. This is lie detector tests and lifestyle audits and that type of thing before you even get an appointment in an anti-corruption body. It's one thing to be a policeman who is looking for housebreakers and common law criminals, and it's another thing to be in charge of dealing with corruption in South Africa. That is a secretive and a carefully designed form of crime that is difficult to investigate and to prosecute. And that is why the court has said this type of crime needs a separate body that deals with it to the exclusion of all else. And if you do that, you do not muddy the waters in the police and indeed in the National Prosecuting Authority, because when a corruption case arises, it goes to the Chapter 9 Anti-Corruption Commission that is envisaged in the two bills pending before Parliament. And that body is the body that gets on with it. We know from the activities of the Special Investigation Unit, which is not part of the Criminal Justice Administration in South Africa, and only does work when the president asks it by way of a proclamation to look into a particular case. And it has no criminal jurisdiction at all. But it is the most effective anti-corruption body we have, and it doesn't have the powers that an anti-corruption commission would have. So we've already got a body waiting to step into those shoes.
Yeah, we certainly do. And one just wonders, at this point, it's going to all just be about action. Because that's all that South Africans are now looking for. I think we're all tired of kind of hearing that we're going to investigate. We're thinking about this. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, it seems then. And President Cyril Ramaphosa may indeed need to do quite a bit of that then later today. Advocate Paul Hoffman, thank you so much for the time this Sunday morning. Really appreciate it. Then, of course, we're leading up to the address then by President Cyril Ramaphosa later on this evening then. That's set to happen as well at 7 p.m. Gaining the public's trust is one thing, but also being decisive in his actions is perhaps another thing.